It is still coming down out here. We are buried here in southern New Jersey. But I will try to give you somewhat of a tour as much as I can walk through. The winds are picking up. We're going to get 25 mile to 30 mile per hour winds tonight, and it is dropping fast into the 20s. So yeah, so let me just show you. It looks beautiful, but we are definitely buried. Hello again. I was totally unsuccessful last night at getting any kind of good footage. It was so choppy, and I was moving the camera too fast, so I thought I'd give you vertigo. So I'm going to try again this morning. It's absolutely gorgeous out right now. We have blue skies. It's gone from 17 degrees all the way up to 30. So we are going to get a big melt off. So there's going to be some flooding. So I thought I'd better get some video now to give you our wintry tour of the garden. It is looking really gorgeous. If not, you can't really see anything, obviously the plants, but the trees look so beautiful with all the snow on them, the evergreens and everything. So it's absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, I'll show you around and we'll get started. This area looks so beautiful, and this is what I say about evergreens. If you get snow and just for in the winter, they're just always green. I feel a little bad for them today, though. That snow was heavy and icy, so it's just covering the cypress, and they are really hanging hard. Hopefully they won't go over. Sometimes they do in this kind of icy snow. So I'm in the Zen Garden right now, and that is actually one of the fountains, and Buddha, he's under there somewhere. He looks like a ghost right now. This is the Herbaceous Garden. I have not cut it back yet. I probably will soon because it's now thinned out so much and gotten so beaten down that it's not really providing any kind of habitat anymore. So on the next warm day, I might get out here and actually start cutting it down and getting it ready for spring. I don't like to wait too long because we have a lot of bulbs, and since the climate is warming up, they come up earlier and earlier every year for me. The winds were not too bad last night, which was great. Here's the gate and our ornamental maples. They look so gorgeous, covered in snow. This one just looks like a huge bonsai tree. It's so beautiful. You can kind of get a better perspective of how our backyard is situated, because this is normally a whole wall of greenery here. So you can't see the kitchen garden in the spring once it fills in all through, probably mid-fall. And at this time of the year, I absolutely love that you can see right through it. So it's nice. You get two perspectives on the garden. And as you can see, everything is just covered. I have in the gazebo just loaded all the cushions into the center, and I'll be getting all the snow off of what did get on there right after I do this video. I'm trying not to walk too much because the snow is really deep. I think we clocked in at about 13 inches last night. Here's the bike. Just empty now. Looks so different. And our pots are still, you see, I don't bring in my pots. I really just don't have anywhere to have them, so they stay out. The clay pots are covered with plastic so they don't get wet inside, but most of our pots just stay out, and I rarely have one that breaks. So this is the path to the secret garden, which is now open. And the climbing hydrangea, you see how thin it gets at this time of the year when all the leaves fall off. It's over here too. You see the shed in the distance back there. And it's so nice because you can see the copper raised beds. And I just really love the openness at this time of the year and having the two perspectives on the garden. See if we can get down the path without me making this camera jump too much. I'm trying to kind of get in different areas where I can film for you so you can see it. This is the framework that used to hold the swing, but the carpenter bees ate the entire swing, so now it is just a framework for the climbing hydrangea, which is great because they're heavy, so you need something big. Looks like I need to clean and fill the bird feeder. That is our newest fountain, and you see we tarp it and bungee cord around it. We have the lights that go around it inside of it to protect them. And this is our maple. The kids left their little wheelbarrow out there. And through here, which you normally can't see through this area, is where the frog pond is. But you can't even see the frog pond anymore. None of the boulders, I can't see anything. So I would be very careful walking over there and probably won't until it starts to melt off and I can identify exactly where it is. It's somewhere in here. And I can kind of see where the humps are. I think that's where some of the boulders are. So it's kind of a little bit tough to see right now. This is the beautiful tree line and where the grasses, the mass planted grasses went in that video down this line. And just as I suspected, it looks gorgeous in the winter. The snow, and you can kind of see how the grasses have fallen over. I have not cut them back either. Everything really worked out perfect. The cypress is hanging over the frog pond completely right now. So that's frozen. So if there's any frogs in there, they are probably hibernating at the bottom. This is our wild area where we just let it go and try not to tend to it and just let it do what it does. The trellis into the back of the kitchen garden. This will eventually be the path to the back of the greenhouse. It's amazing how under this is all of that greenery that pops up so quickly in the spring. It's the entrance to the kitchen garden. Crepe Myrtles. Both are doing really well. And so you see we plastic over top and just bungee around our pots. The plastic ones I put bulbs into, and the clay pots I just plastic over. Some of the clay pots you see out there, that one has a willow tree in it, a small willow tree. I don't plastic it, I just leave it out. And what will be will be. I rarely lose them, as I said, I think, before. We put I think 150 tulips just around the edges, so I can still plant the greens, kale and my early greens in the copper bins. So, but they do have, I don't know how it's going to work out because I wasn't thinking about the height of the tulips. When you're putting those bulbs in, you don't think, so it might block too much light, but we'll see. But the tulips will come up, and if I have to, I'll grow the greens in pots. Shockingly, none of the fireplace or whatever, that little chimney, I think they called them, and the chairs didn't go over in the storm. Everything's standing. I have a bucket of I was taking out some of the annual plants back there. I think it's right there, yeah, over here. I was taking out some of the annual plants out of the frog garden, and I never got that cleared. I think I set it there and forgot all about it. Here's one of the willow tree pots. It's the Scarecrow. He'll probably stay out all year round. He's got his little snow hat on now. A little snow nose. Eventually this will grow up and it will totally obscure the fence line, which will be really nice. As you see these bigger ones, hopefully you can see it. It's hard to say with all I'm seeing is a black screen, so I'm not exactly sure what I'm getting on this film, but hopefully you're getting a good idea of how big these cypress get. These are older ones. These are probably been in 7 to 8 years. My blueberry bushes, the pots, and then you can see back across the garden, straight through to the neighbor's property line. So you get a better idea of how everything is situated, because it does turn into rooms during the summer. So you really can't see through. So each room is its own little space, which is nice. But then in the winter, we get a whole open back garden again. This is the potting bench, and obviously our flower cart. And the opening to the arbor that goes to the Hydrangea Garden up front with the fountain and the 2 benches. It looks like a park in the summer. It's really neat to have your own little park. The ivy just looks gorgeous in the snow. This is the courtyard area. We have a bunch of bins filled with leaves, which I forgot to get out to the curb on Saturday morning. So they're still sitting there now, filled with snow and leaves. And I left all the greenery up, but I took off the red bows off of all of the wreaths. Here's the new potting shed. Looks really cute in the snow. So excited about it. Can't wait to get working on it again. Obviously, this weather is prohibiting us from working on it. See how blue that sky is back there? You can hear my parrot in the background. He is mad as a dickens that he's not able to be with me. So he's calling and calling. My new picnic table, which I want to get clear so it doesn't rot out, but at least this way it's starting to cure so that I can paint it eventually. Here's the Hydrangea Garden, which is our park setting kind of up front. This is the front. If you're looking at our house, right side of the driveway area, we have the triangle garden here. which is filled with now with flowers, hydrangeas, cuba, all types of plants. And then of course it's lined with the cypress along the whole side of it. This is a really long garden. It's like the opposite side, which we call Sherwood, because that's kind of dark and lots of shade plants, whereas this side is what I would consider shady to part shade. It does get maybe a few hours of some sun on it, like as you see now, but it's not a lot. It's only in the morning, and that's it, because these cypress block the sun goes down in the west, so it comes down up over here. So this side just becomes dark, this side of the cypress. And now you can see where the arbor is that I showed you on the other side. And then we have our fountain cherry here, looking really pretty with the snow on it. And here is the fountain planter, which up until it's just snowed, everything was pretty much evergreen in there and looked really good. Even the succulents at the top that I put at the top were doing really good. So we'll see once it thaws. We're going to get a real big warm up. As I said, tomorrow it will become, I think, 45 degrees. So this is going to cause a lot of runoff and flooding. These are all hydrangeas. Mostly there's some heuchera in there. The little mounds at the front are the boxwoods, which are starting to grow, and I'm hoping I might be able to start shaping them this coming summer, spring, summer. But possibly I'll wait another year. I want to have them as a low hedge eventually. So I don't want to go after them too early, because I'd like them to be maybe 1.5 feet high. There's some more back here, right there. I think we did 6 on the front and then 5 around the whole back of the bench and the pot. I'm sorry if any of the traffic comes through really loud. It actually is not loud here. We talk about that all the time. I'm not sure if because our property is kind of sunken in, if it just magnifies the traffic sounds on the video, or it's just that the microphone picks up that easier. So this is a look back. This is the front of our property. I'm standing in the middle of the driveway. And if you look, you'll see that we planted these bushes surrounding this arborvitae. So it's like 1, 2, 3 evergreens to kind of give a nice grounded winter interest. You can kind of hear how silent it is. This is normally how peaceful our neighborhood is. It really, you have certain times of the day where people are leaving for work, but because we're back by a lake, we don't have a lot of through traffic. So it really is very peaceful. And you can see how blue those skies are up there with the cloud trails. So this is Sherwood over here. And this is our Shay Garden, which we're still working on. That was the garden we had to take all the poison ivy out. So if you remember how thick that used to be, and now we've taken everything out and we've started new plants. But as you can see, the cypress up here, they are a good 15 years old. So they are starting to age. And the lack of light at the bottom has really caused a lot of dieback, which looks really neat. We went under there, we cleaned it out. And now it gives a little bit more light for the plants that prefer a little bit of sun. This is a full shade garden though, full shade. Like there's very little sun. You might get a little bit up front. You can see back there the rhododendron, the kubas. And hopefully you can see down the lane here. This is one of the prettiest areas. Is this path that goes down between the Kusa bed and Sherwood, and it goes straight back to the other arbor. There are cardinals flitting around this morning. I tried to get them on film and they're just too fast for me. We've finally gotten this garden. It looks good all year round now. There's something to look at all times. Look at how heavy that snow is up there. It's going to start dumping on my head though soon because these temperatures are going to go up to 35 degrees and I said tomorrow 45. I was hoping for a slower warm up so that it could get into the ground a little easier because we do flood here. You see how tall this arborvitae is? It's really tall. That is probably, I would say 17-year-old arborvitae. I'm not sure what kind. This is our blue spruce. It's getting healthier and healthier each year. We have problems around here with blue spruce getting diseases, and it weakens them. There's the Kusa dogwood in there. Okay, so we'll continue down the path between Sherwood and the Kusa Garden. And there's the small ornamental willow. It looks gorgeous in the snow also. It just looks windswept. That would be a great painting. The maple has, this is how heavy the snow is. The maple arm is so heavy that it has fallen on top of the table and chair set. Both those chairs are still up. That's shocking. I will get that up too. Here's some more hydrangeas. Our rhododendron, and that is the little garden under there. It's totally covered, but doing really well. That I did the rockery, the shade rockery, doing really well. So I have high hopes that that's going to come back strong next year. There's the ornamental willow. They are beautiful. It does not get a lot of light on the one side, but it's given it a really cool windswept appearance. Okay, so we're in front of the house behind the Kusa bed and the round garden on the opposite side. These trees just look gorgeous. This is the middle tree that I showed you from the front. It has those gorgeous hanging arms, which are so pretty. 2 more window boxes. Hydrangeas. These are endless summers. They kind of get a very wilty look at this time of the year. Still very interesting. One of the birds just flew right next to my head. It's just such a pretty sight. Looks like one of the arborvitaes in the center went over, so it split. So I'm going to have to see if I can get that back up and maybe tie it up to retrain it. We'll see. Snow does some damage. It's beautiful, but it definitely does damage. But nature is amazing. It revives itself. Now we're going into the east side garden, which I'm going to start calling the butterfly garden because it sounds so much better than the east side garden that we've been calling it, because it has the butterfly bath in it. That is the butterfly bath. You can see straight to it. We normally have all these giant hydrangeas, not hydrangeas, hosta, all around the wheelbarrow back here. There's the wheelbarrow. I didn't do any new bulbs in here this year, so I'm not sure what's going to come up again and what's not. This is where the hydrangeas are on this side. And you can see right straight through to Willow's barn way back there. There's a couple of my little bonsai trees I'm trying to train. I don't do anything special to protect them, and they seem to do fine. You never know year to year, though. Okay, well, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this garden tour. There's something magical about snow, especially after it's first fallen. And I just love to walk around the garden, especially when you have a lot of structure for the snow to kind of cling to initially. It looks absolutely beautiful. And it's so amazing when you look at how open the garden is at this time of the year, and how all of these plants that are buried dormant under all of the snow, and how amazing nature is that it just springs back out of all of this cold in the spring. So the change of seasons here it's really nice, and I've learned to really appreciate them. But thanks again, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.
I'm driving down an empty freeway, no waiting for the light to change. I'm seeing the sunrise behind